Hello, welcome to Salt and Light Canning. I'm Jessica, and this is my kitchen. I'm happy that you're here. Today I am making a garden salsa, and what I've done so far is I have taken all of my tomatoes that I had and I put them in this roaster and I just let them cook for a couple of hours, well, probably more like a few hours. And I zhuzhed them up with the immersion blender. And now I'm going to work on processing some peppers for my salsa. I know I've talked to you guys about this before, but this attachment for your KitchenAid is the best thing for doing larger batches of canning. So I'm going to process my peppers through here. I'm going to do diced peppers because that's what I like. I like a chunkier salsa. If you like a smoother, more restaurant style salsa, please do what you like for your salsa. But this is what I like for mine. So I have my tomatoes here and I'm probably still going to let them cook down for another couple of hours. The best thing in the world for tomato processing is definitely one of these roasters. It's like a turkey roaster. But it is the best thing for processing tomatoes because I can just set it and forget about it and a couple hours come back and put my tomatoes with the immersion blender or put them through the food mill and I can just let them cook down and not have to worry about it. I'm going to get my peppers diced and in a little while I'll add them to my tomatoes and we'll add some onions and some seasoning and we'll make this delicious salsa. And if you're wondering, I don't use like any specific peppers or any specific tomatoes in my salsa. It's whatever I happen to have coming in out of the garden. If you use specific stuff, then use that. Some of these are just so pretty. Okay, so my tomatoes have been simmering and cooking down for a few hours now, and they are much thicker than when I started. And so now I'm going to add my peppers and my onions. I might also add some shredded zucchini. We'll just see how it goes. But I'm going to add my peppers and my onions. So first off, I have some onions. Now these are onions that we just packaged up, diced up, and froze. Because, you know, sometimes that's the way it works. You have to preserve what you can when you can. So these were just packaged up and frozen. Get that stirred in. I'm going to add my peppers here. You know me, I like to push the limitations of my pot. Get this stirred in. Woo! And spill it. I'm going to let this continue to cook. I'll be back when I'm doing something else. This has been simmering for just a couple of hours and it's thickened up quite a bit. A lot of my moisture has cooked out. So now I'm going to add some flavor and some seasoning. To start off, I'm going to add a couple of cups of vinegar. This is just apple cider vinegar. We'll start with that and see how it goes. I'm also going to add some canning salt because I haven't added any salt or anything. All I have is just tomatoes, onions, and peppers. That's probably enough. I don't like a lot of salt. I'm going to add some dried cilantro because that's what I have. If you have fresh cilantro, use fresh cilantro. That's probably good. Some cumin, some garlic powder, some onion powder, red pepper flakes. If you don't like any heat, then don't add them. Mexican oregano, some chili powder. We'll get this mixed in, and then I will probably add some garlic and maybe a couple spoons of sugar. But we'll taste it to find out. This looks delicious, smells delicious. We go through a lot of salsa in my house, so I will probably make a couple hundred jars this year again. We just eat a lot of salsa. And it's such a blessing to be able to take the produce from our garden and make delicious food for our family. Okay, I'm gonna add some garlic. I know I put garlic powder in there, but the minced garlic, it gives it a different flavor. All right, I'm gonna let this simmer for a few more minutes and I'll taste it. I may add a couple spoons of sugar, just depending on if I need to cut the acid or not. Sometimes you don't have to, it depends on your tomatoes. So you have to taste your tomatoes and see. I don't like a sweet salsa. I prefer it more acidic. But you do you. If you enjoy a sweeter salsa, then by all means add sugar. Oh, it looks delicious. And then taste it. It's very good. I think I will add about 3 spoons of sugar just to cut some of the acid. But I think we're just about ready to put it in jars. I'll probably let it simmer for a little bit just to let those seasonings mingle and everything will be just so yummy. I'll be back in just a few minutes when I'm getting things in jars. So I'm ready to start putting my salsa in jars. I did add about 4 spoons of sugar to help just balance. Everything is about balance, right? And it tasted really, really good, so we're happy with it. I'm gonna add a 1/4 teaspoon of citric acid to my jars. This will just help assure our acidity because I'm gonna be water bath canning. So I want to make sure we have enough acidity in our jars. And I probably have enough with the vinegar that I added, but just make sure. I have my ladle here and my funnel. I'm going to fill my jars to about 1/2 inch of headspace. And you know me, just do your best. I have lots of chunky things going on in here with the tomatoes and the onions and the peppers. So I'm going to make sure I debubble really well. Now I'm going to wipe the rim of my jars with a little bit of white vinegar on a paper towel. This is what I do to make sure that they're clean because I don't want anything to interfere with my seal. Get a lid. Line it up and a ring. Just to finger tight. And that is so pretty in the jar. I'll fill my next jar. Please let me know what you're canning, what's going on in your garden this year. I love to hear from you. Debubble, 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 debubble. This one's just a little bit too full. I'm going to take some out. Anytime you're canning tomatoes, you don't want to go over your headspace because tomatoes have a tendency to swell and to siphon, and I don't want to take a chance that anything would interfere with my jar sealing, especially not after I work so hard to grow the food and work so hard to make a recipe with it. I want everything to seal. Get a lid and a ring, just to finger tight. I'm just going to keep filling jars and I'll be back when I'm doing something else. You're supposed to say action.
Action.
Can you hear me?
Talk again?
Hello, hello.
Yes.
Okay. My canner is full and everything is covered by the water, and I have a little splash of vinegar, so I'm going to turn on the stove. I'm gonna bring this up to a boil. And we're gonna process at a boil for 20 minutes. For my altitude for salsa, I need to process for 20 minutes. Please check your altitude, see how long you need to process your salsa. But I will be back when I'm taking these out of the canner. So I have finished processing and I turned everything off and I took the lid off and I've been waiting for a few minutes and we're ready to take them out. These are just so pretty. Such a blessing to be able to do this for my family. These are going to sit on my counter overnight, and in the morning I will come in and take the rings off and wash the jars and label them and put them in the pantry. Just so exciting. Let me know what you're canning and what you're doing in your kitchen. I love to hear from you. Let me know how your gardens are doing. I bet that's just so wonderful. Be so blessed. Know that you're loved and be a blessing to someone else. I'll see you in the next video.